Yeah, Zone Update is on the way later on in the show. Right now, it's the SportsMax Ultimate Football 11. Today is the day we settle on the forwards, and the Ultimate Reveal show is on Friday. That's May 1. That's tomorrow. You don't want to miss that, right? So sportsmax.tv/ultimate to make your selections, your intervention. There still are a few hours left for you to vote. So go and vote and vote and vote. Be very angry if you hear the panel say something that you're disagreeing with. Go and register your own opinion by way of voting. So we have to select 2 forwards today. The list started with 17 players on Wednesday, and this is how the voting has been going since we opened it. 1.04% for Eusebio, Baggio 2.08, Cristiano Ronaldo 36.46, Pele 38.19. Let me repeat, Pele 38.19, Puskás 1.39%, Lionel Messi 47.57, Alfredo Di Stefano 0.35, Romario 5.56, Ronaldo Luis Nazario de Lima 54.17%, Gerd Muller Darbama 2.43%, Marco van Basten 2.78%, George Weah 2.08%, Mario Kempes 0.69%, Hugo Sanchez didn't even get a vote, Jairzinho didn't even get a vote, Sandro Kosciuszko no vote, George Best he got 5.21%, and yeah. Now, by virtue of the viewers and their voting, which counts for 60% of the selection, beg your pardon, 40%, the viewers account for 40% of the selection, 7 players have been sent packing. So these are they: Jairzinho gone, Sandro Kosciuszko gone, Hugo Sanchez gone, Alfredo Di Stefano gone, so too Eusebio, Kempes, and the other Hungarian, one of 2, Ferenc Puskás. The 10 that remain, Baggio also gone. So Best is still standing, so too is Messi, Muller, Pele, Cristiano Ronaldo. Those are the ones still standing. All right, so it's time to go to the men who will largely have charge of making this decision. All right? So I'm going to Brent Sancho. He had some issues yesterday, so he wasn't able to join us, but he is a part of the SportsMax team now, and he is over there at home in Trinidad and Tobago. In North America is Juan G. Arango, arguably CONCACAF's finest football commentator, and Ricardo Fuller, the former reggae boy and former outstanding English Premier League striker. He is in the UK, I believe. That's where Ricardo is. Yes. So we have the Americas represented, and we have Europe represented. So it's a multinational team that we're putting together to get this job done. Of course, Lance is from Barbados. I'm from Jamaica, and Wayne Lewis is from Mars. So, gentlemen, we have broad scale representation. Why, right here. All right. You know, a bomb was dropped yesterday. Brent Sancho, you weren't here for the disgraceful scenes which ushered the segment closed yesterday, when our very good friend, a man who knows football inside out, Juan G. Arango, said that Lionel Messi would be the first man to fall from the list of 6 left standing. I want your reaction to that, Brent.
First of all, good afternoon to the panelists and to you in studio, and of course all the viewers. I think Juan has taken advantage of the borders being closed, so he knows that no Argentinian fan can get to Miami to kill him. But to say Messi is the first to go, I mean, he's just... I think the biggest problem, and I must say this now, is, of course, I put my hand up here, is the fact that we are stymied by the formation. And for me, a player like Lionel Messi, which I would say early on will be in trouble as we go to choose the last 2, will always find himself in this position. If you ask me if he can play in the midfield from the ones we have selected so far, I may argue a case for him.
All right. Before we look at the 10 players left standing, gentlemen, their profile, just to get your opening comments, Ricardo, on what Juan yesterday said as we close the show about Messi being the first to fall.
Good evening, guys. Good evening, viewers. Good evening, everyone. Absolutely controversial, as he said it was. And it was indeed controversial because Messi, we all know what a talent he is. We all know his talent at club level, the history for him at club level and international level. Obviously, it's not so much internationally, but as a club player, all his accolades and achievement is second to none, as you see. First in so many things: goals, assists, Ballon d'Or, hat-tricks, you name it. So very controversial indeed.
Juan G. Arango, before I go to my profiles, did you have heartburn when you settled down for bed last night? Did you have trouble sleeping?
Actually, because my wife didn't give me dinner, because she's Argentine. So let's start with that one first and foremost. Second of all, I paid you guys some good money because you defended me like very few could, because that's exactly the reasoning why I was able to go and do and say what I was going to say and actually did say. To me, Leo Messi, and I wasn't there on the day that you guys did the midfielders, he was my wild card for the midfield. Because if you look at the formation, I think he would be much better. And also, depending on the criteria that we're picking here for a number 9, for a forward, that would be the best criteria for him in a 4-4-2 formation. Even more so, and I'll probably be more controversial today too, because I like that. I would put him over Ronaldinho. I would maybe put him even over Cruyff in terms of that ideal midfield. But that's another matter for another time. That's just my opinion. And that's exactly where I stand and my logic behind putting Leo Messi out of the forward argument, because I think he functions much better within this ideal 11, not as a forward, but as a midfielder.
The gray in your beard is getting plentiful, Juan, but the gray matter in your head is working correctly, it seems. Chris Martin also raised concern about Messi being listed as a forward, because Chris was saying that properly Messi ought to have been a midfielder. But we are bound by the formation and the designations that Brent Sancho and his wise colleagues sought to put together. So we have to work with what we have to work with. Gentlemen, let's run through now the profiles of these 10 players left standing. Let's go, Mr. Johnson. Let's look at the 10 as we go through. So, all right, Georgie Best, Ballon d'Or 1968, first man in the English Football Hall of Fame, even though he's not an Englishman. UEFA Jubilee Award for Northern Ireland's Golden Player 2002, twice a First Division winner with Manchester United, the equivalent of the Premier League back then. And of course, we all know how Manchester United beat Benfica in the final in 1968 to become the first English team to win a European competition after Celtic had become the first British team to win a European competition. So that's Georgie Best's profile. Next, Gerd Muller, arguably the deadliest goal scorer on this list, and he may not make it. 1974 World Cup winner. He was the European Championship winner in 72, Golden Boot at the 1970 World Cup. He made the All-Star team in 1970. He was top scorer in 1972, and of course he won the Ballon d'Or in 1970. This man was born to do one thing, and it was only to score goals. Nothing elegant about him, nothing flash. He was just there when the ball needed to be prodded into the net. That's Gerd Muller. Then Lionel Messi. Yeah, everything in the game except a major international title. And Lance, that seems to be the big stain against Lionel's reputation.
Yeah, there's no dispute about his ball handling skills and the sort of colossal numbers he has chalked up for Barcelona. But there is that issue about the Argentina shirt and no World Cup titles.
Next. Let's go to the next one. Let's keep it moving so we can have the time at the back end to talk about it. Cristiano Ronaldo, Wayne Lewis, has won league titles in Spain, England and Italy. 5 Champions Leagues in his cabinet. 5 Ballon d'Ors. He's a European champion with Portugal. World Player of the Year when he was at Manchester United. Has won the lot. Can he make the cut?
It's going to be difficult, but I still maintain my point about, said the World Cup, you never won the World Cup and so on. When 11 players are on the field, it's very difficult for me to judge against a player because he never won the World Cup. When there's 11 of them on the field, I think it's not an individual sport, but we place too much emphasis sometimes on winning a major trophy when you're playing in a team sport.
All right, let's keep it moving. Next, Ronaldo, Luis Nazario de Lima, Juan G. Arango. This man achieved so much despite requiring 2 new knees in his career. Can you imagine Juan Arango? What would Ronaldo have achieved? What would his CV have looked like had he not had those serious injuries as an Inter Milan player?
We'd probably be talking about him as one of the great top 4 players of all time, no doubt.
Brent Sancho, Ronaldo, so much on his CV, and yet it could have been so much more.
Look, we said at the top of this program when we started picking this Ultimate 11, a lot has to do with the eye test. And one man that passes the eye test is that man, Ronaldo. For me, I heard Juan say the top 4 in the world. I think he's easily one of the best players I've ever seen play the sport. He has every single ingredient as a footballer to be the best that has ever played the sport.
All right, this next profile will be done by Wayne Lewis. Let's go, Wayne.
Oh, Pele, what can I say? His stats is on the screen. Amazing guy. I love to watch him play. So athletic. Has done so much for Brazilian football. Has won more World Cups than anybody else out of the 6. Just an amazing player. 7 Ballon d'Or winner, 7 times. I mean, won the World Cup 3 times. Amazing. I think he's number 1 here, and therefore he needs no introduction.
All right. And then let's move to Romario, can we? Because I want to hear Ricardo Fuller talk about Romario. Was there anything you would have picked up from the little man over time, Ricky, looking at Romario play in a Barcelona shirt, of course, for PSV Eindhoven and starring for Brazil at the 1994 World Cup? Can we get Romario up on the screen, please? All right. Ricardo, we don't need the graphic to talk about Romario, do we?
No, we don't. No, we don't. Well, very tricky player. Could create something out of nothing. I absolutely take that from him. Player like Ronaldo, number 9, as we said. But Romario is just an amazing talent as well. That's why he's deservedly on the list. One of the world's best.
Do you remember, Ricardo, that goal that Ronaldo scored against Turkey in the semi-final of the 2002 World Cup in Japan, South Korea? That toe poke where he said that he got that move from Romario. You remember that?
Oh yes, as rightly so, because Romario was actually came before Ronaldo, and I'm sure Ronaldo used to watch him, as we all do. We all learn from somebody as players or as sports people, and that's what football is about. That's what sports is about, and he's a legend, I'm sure, to Ronaldo.
All right, no backlift on the toe poke. All right, gentlemen, we're going to the break now, but before we go, we have to drop one from this 5. I don't know if I need to go to Juan Arango because I know what he did yesterday, but we're going back to him to confirm. So quickly, gentlemen, Brent, who from the 6 are you leaving behind now as we move forward?
Sorry to the Red Devil fans, but Georgie Best has to go.
All right, so you've taken out Best. Ricardo Fuller, what say you?
I would say Best as well. I said it yesterday. I would say Best as well.
All right.
Being that he's probably one of the person known to be the greatest outside, not playing in a World Cup finals.
All right, my friend, thank you. Juan G. Arango, any change?
No, absolutely Best. Best would have to be gone. I mean, sadly.
All right, so Best has fallen. That's the expert panel's view. Do we need to vote right here, Mr. Producer, or do we go to the break? All right, gentlemen, what say you? Who goes from this 6? Who's the first name you're taking off?
I'll take Best out as well.
I'll take Best out as well. Never played international football, never played the World Cup.
Doesn't matter what I say because that's 5 out of 6, all right? And 2 out of 3,
So
right?
who would you?
Let's go to the break. Let's go to the break. When we come back, let's go to the break. I'm not leaving my Manchester United guy off. You crazy? Let's go.
Back on the SportsMax Zone, you can go as a voter to sportsmax.tv/ultimate and put your vote in for the Ultimate 11. You have less than 20 hours to do so. Your vote is valuing 40% of the legendary football starting 11. The Zone hosts get 30% and our guest panelists get 30% as well. Juan G. Arango, football analyst and commentator on our Blue Jean video call, as well as Ricardo Fuller, the top striker from the 2000s in the English club football with Stoke City and Tivoli Gardens, plus the Reggae Boys, of course. And there's Brent Sancho for Trinidad and Tobago, who is now the CEO of Central FC in TNT, narrowing down our panel selection for the top 2 forwards. First of all, we can confirm that George Best, of the 6 remaining, is out. So we're now down to 5. And we're chopping 3 off to come down to 2. Of course, remember, as viewers, you have an opportunity to vote until midday on Friday to get your votes in. So the list at the moment, you see the players that are remaining there. Let's go to Brent first. Who do you believe, Brent, looking at the 5 remaining, will be the first to go off from the 5 remaining?
But Gerd Muller is he on the list still?
Yes.
He wasn't there.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, Gerd Muller would definitely be the one that I would take off the list. It's strange saying that, guys, because at the end of the day, we're looking at the 2 best strikers. Striker is someone that puts the ball into the back of the net.
Yes.
But because I know we're looking for a bit of pizzazz and skill and flair as well.
We are?
As part of the criteria. Well, I am.
Yes.
Gerd Muller would definitely be one that would have to exit the list. Although I think both him and Romario is probably on this current list right now that remains the 2 best out and out guys to put the ball into the back of the net.
All right. A lot of people consider when the discussion, I've entered many discussions, gentlemen, let's get Juan and Ricardo on this, about the best footballer of all time, and people, you end up hearing this discussion between Maradona, Pele, and sometimes Messi gets into that discussion. But quite often, ever so often, someone pops in and says what the Brazilian Ronaldo has to be in that discussion. Does he qualify as? I heard Brent mention it earlier on that if you look at his skill set and the tools that he has, he would certainly enter the conversation as being one of the best players of all time, even though he was just primarily a forward and a goal-scoring man. Does that opinion sit well with you, Ricardo?
Oh, yes. Sure thing. Absolutely sure thing. He's one of them players that, as you say, could easily say is amongst the better players in terms of talking about a Pele, a Diego Maradona. Well, for me, I support Argentina in the World Cup. For me personally, I always support Ronaldo. I like to watch his videos. I try to play like him. Strong, strength, fast, skillful, tricky goals. He does everything on the pitch. And Ronaldo, number 7, actually plays like him. When you look at how Ronaldo plays football, number 7, yes. I think he copies a lot of skid cells from Ronaldo, number 9. So he's definitely up there in my top 3.
Yeah, and Juan G. Arango, your opinion on Ronaldo, as we're going to ask you and Ricardo as well to comment on the first player out from the remaining 5. But your Ronaldo comment before.
Ronaldo's, right now we're beyond splitting hairs. We're splitting atoms in terms of trying to define which player's better, which player's more suited, which player would I pick over which player. At the end of the day, we're just like a kid in a candy store trying to pick the best players of all time right now. Ronaldo, if there's one defect, if you ever want to look at it, is his longevity. And for better or for worse, that was one thing that you started to learn. Young player as good as him on the football pitch during his peak as a player. But it's his injuries that ended up kind of harming his legacy towards the end of his career. All
right. Let's get Juan commenting on this, because we already got Brent suggesting that of the 5 remaining, Gerd Muller would be the first that goes for him. Who would be your first of the 5 that goes? And why?
I have to go with Muller.
Yeah. Gerd Muller. I was castigated a couple of days ago when I cut Gerd Muller off the list, and now 2 of you gentlemen have immediately cut him off. Ricardo Fuller. Who is the first of the 5 that goes for you?
Firstly, I want to tell Juan that you could not have said anything better about Ronaldo coming. Absolutely spot on with that one.
Yes.
But cutting one of these players, Ronaldo, number 7, or Gerd Muller, those would be a choice for me, one of those players. But at the end of the day, I've never really seen much of Gerd Muller on a personal note. So because of that, because of that view, I would say Gerd Muller.
All right, but based on what Ricardo just mentioned, Cristiano Ronaldo is pretty close to elimination for him as well, if you listen to the narrative that he just delivered. Wayne and George, of the 5 remaining, Gerd Muller seems to be a popular omission or a popular expulsion from the current list.
Drop the German.
George has not been demonstrating a lot of bravery. He does that.
Drop the German.
Does that? Yeah, drop the German.
Drop the German. Simple as that.
Bye, Mr. Muller.
Drop the German.
I dropped him before.
Drop the German.
So I'm going to
that's
skip
6-0.
Ricardo as we narrow down to the two forwards, because I think we can safely say, Ricardo, that Cristiano Ronaldo also goes for you with 4 remaining. Because you are choosing between Cristi.
It will be very shortly.
Yes.
I like to see him on the list. He looks very nice on the list right now, but shortly I'm sure it will go. He's not in my top 2.
He's not in the top 2. Well, I take it that he's out of the top 4 as well, because when we were asking you to eliminate the first top 5, you were tossing between Cristiano Ronaldo and Gerd Muller, and Cristiano
Yes.
Ronaldo and
Muller.
And Muller, yeah. And you went for
Yes,
Muller,
yes.
but Cristiano right
For
there
Muller,
as well.
yes.
Okay.
Yes,
so
and the viewer obviously not seen a lot of Gerd Muller playing personally. Only on video.
all right, I know we're going into very serious choppy waters now, because some big names, certainly in modern day times, Cristiano Ronaldo is very, very highly thought of, but Ricardo Fuller has ticked him off, and he's no longer in the top 4. Juan Arango, Brent Sancho, let's take Juan first. Who is the next player that goes? Brent.
Oh, I thought you were looking. I was trying to get Juan to take the punishment first, but he didn't step up.
I did. I just say Cristiano Ronaldo.
Yeah, this is a tough one for me, guys, because again, I keep lamenting on the eye test and a player that could impress from what you see. Again, I may argue the fact that Ronaldo could slip into my midfield very easily. Something I still want to throw out there. But I would have to say, I would have to say Ronaldo. I would have to say Ronaldo.
So Ronaldo.
Amazingly, yeah.
So both Brent and Juan Arango, along with Ricardo Fuller, put Cristiano Ronaldo and Gerd Muller out of the 5. So we're now to 3, aren't we? Mm-hmm. So we're down to Messi, Ronaldo, and Pele.
Yeah.
And
the zone group is okay with those as the final 3 standing.
Absolutely. I've always felt that Lionel Messi had a little more class, a little more creativity than Ronaldo. Cristiano Ronaldo.
Yeah.
And for that, I've always had Messi ahead of him.
Yeah.
Yes. All right. So we're satisfied on the 3 remaining.
It's not getting too difficult for me anymore, you know. I'm not as nervous anymore.
Oh, you aren't?
No, I'm not.
Those are the 3 remaining.
Yes.
All right. So we have Ronaldo standing along with Lionel Messi and Pele. But Mr. Producer, can you remind me what the viewers' vote is showing so far? All right. Well, he says to wait. He says I'm spoiling the fun. So we're going to keep you in suspense a little while longer. All right. So, gentlemen, let's go now.
The eye test and look, for me, it's between Ronaldo and Messi as the greatest player I have ever seen play the sport. There's no doubt about it in my mind. However, it's very hard to ignore what Pele has done in the game. It's very hard to ignore a man that leads in every single department as it leads to strikers. I have not seen him play live, of course, meaning that a real-time game. I've seen footage of him, and I just can't ignore that. As much as I've hung my hat throughout this series on seeing a player and the eye test, it's hard to get rid of Pele. And then my love affair with Ronaldo, it's hard to say he has to go. So I'm left with one man, and that man is Messi.
Juan G. Arango, on the weekend I rewatched Brazil versus Italy 1970 World Cup final. The first goal Pele scored, I don't think people give him enough credit for the power with which he jumped and how good he was at heading a football. That first header was pure class, the way he was like almost like a coiled spring, the way he went up and put that ball home. Pele is supreme. Lionel Messi is a man who you've gotten into trouble for, Juan. You didn't get any dinner last night because you dropped Lionel Messi early. And I'm feeling like as if you're going to part company with him right here again, Juan G. Arango.
In the words of the man that he's named for, Mr. Lionel Richie, do it to me one more time and I'm going to do it again. And yeah, I'm going to leave him out.
That's cute. That's cute.
Ricky Fuller, the final word is yours, my friend. Which of these three goes?
Could not have said it any better, Brent. Messi has to go. I feel sorry as an Argentina supporter, and Messi as my player in this day and age, but he is the one. I could not ignore Pele, obviously the man of the century, the man of football, and could not ignore Ronaldo, number 9. Messi for me.
All right. So we've heard from the panel of experts. Gentlemen, it's been tough. We thank you for your contribution. So we look at the stats, we look at the graphics now. Pele left standing based on the vote of the expert panel, and Ronaldo, R9, the best number 9 I have ever seen, perhaps the best number 9 history has ever seen. He had the speed of a winger, the dribbling of a winger as well, the craft of a midfielder, and the finishing of an out-and-out goal poacher. Zone host.
What about the strength?
And the strength. You're good with that? You're good with that, the decision made by the expert panel before they go?
Yes.
Absolutely.
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 Yes.
Happiness all around. Gentlemen, thank you for your contribution. Thank you very much. We'll be seeing you, we'll be seeing you, Brent, on Friday, and we'll be seeing some of our friends also on Friday as well. Thank you very much for your time. So, 3.
Yeah. For a conclusion to the presenters, though, I just want to be clear that
Yes.
we're not talking about a unanimous decision or a majority decision. Is it a 100%
That what?
that Pele and Ronaldo are the choices?
Well, what else is this?
Yes.
On Friday's show, we put the fan vote with the experts vote, with the zone host vote. All will be really revealed, but the producer is asking me to ask you
Yes.
to name your top 2.
Well,
Forwards.
when, and I have already done that. We're waiting on Georgia Davis.
So your top 2 is what? I didn't get it.
Ronaldo and Pele.
Ronaldo and Pele.
Emphatically.
Not Cristiano Ronaldo.
Not for sure.
Yes.
All right.
George Davis.
So
You need to declare.
No, all I'll say is this. All I'll say is this as we head to the break.
You're taking long.
No. All rights reserved. All rights reserved.
Oh, the numbers are here. So we don't know if it's unanimous.
You don't need my wait, you don't
No,
need
but
my
I still want to know.
I'm sure our viewers want to know.
I want to know. I want to know if it's a full consensus or if it's just a majority consensus.
It's a unanimous position.
Our fans have until midday tomorrow to vote. Those of you who are trying, you have the power to get a player in based on how the 11 is poised right now. The forwards, you can get a player in. You can split those 2 that Sancho, Fuller, and Arango have selected. Go and vote like crazy. Vote until a voice says vote no more. SportsMax.tv/ultimate and get your vote in. And on Friday, I'll tell you who my top 2 are. These gentlemen can't pressure me.